The next speaker, Dr. Patrick Quercia, ophthalmologist in Beaune, France. Can a podiatrist evoke the diagnosis of dyslexia in a child with back or legs pains?
Good morning, everybody. First of all, I would like to thank my friend Marc Janin for inviting me. Seeing an ophthalmologist in a congress for podiatrists is not so common, but maybe it is a sign that we are going to a more holistic medicine, and that's good. And I'm going to speak about this subject: can a podiatrist evoke diagnosis of dyslexia in a child with back or legs pain? What is dyslexia? Dyslexia is a learning difficulty which affects reading skill in 5 to 10% of children at school. The cause of dyslexia is unknown. There are two causal models: the phonological model, which proposes that the dyslexic brain is not able to treat the smallest unit of speech. And there are a sensory model which proposes that dyslexic children have deficiencies in the processing of sensory stimuli: visual, vestibular, auditory, but also motor processing. And as you know, proprioception is at the center of the motor processing. For almost 20 years, we have been working in our lab on the relationship between dyslexia and proprioception. We have demonstrated that all the children, dyslexic children, have a proprioceptive disorder. We call it proprioceptive dysfunction syndrome, PDS, which is characterized during the night, during the day first, with 3 kinds of clinical signs: motor control disturbances, with a very characteristic asymmetry of the postural tone, muscular tone, perturbation of sensory spatial localization, and difficulties with multisensory integration, especially for vision and hearing. This is for the daytime. During the nighttime, the motor control disturbances give a paradoxical diaphragmatic breathing with a lot of micro awakenings, especially during the REM sleep, the rapid eye movement sleep, which is very important for the procedural memory. This is a key point to understand the relationship between dyslexia and proprioception disorders. The PDS treatment for us must be done prior to all therapy, especially prior speech therapy, in order to give a good sensory function, not only proprioception, but also all the sensory functions. This treatment uses very small and specific stimulation to modify the proprioception at the level of the eye, of the mouth, of the muscular chains, and also at the level of the feet, and maybe it is why I'm here today. At the level of the feet, somebody has already spoken of that. We use very small thickness, specific, at a very specific point of the foot. If I have only one message I would like you to take home, is the fact that the motor control disturbances is able to give back or and leg pains before the age of reading. So a lot of podiatrists are seeing potential dyslexic children for these pains. And I hope that tomorrow all the podiatrists here are going to think about 2 questions. How is your school? How do you work at school? And above all, how is your sleep? If you have a doubt, we create a specific questionnaire that you can use. This questionnaire was made with a group of 109 dyslexic children and 134 good readers. We compare 71 clinical symptoms, signs, that we saw in more than 1,000 dyslexic children. Children were asked to answer questions, 37 questions, about the clinical signs of PDS during the day, and parents were asked to answer 34 questions about the night. At the end, after statistical treatment, we create a questionnaire which is very specific and interesting because, as you see, if you give a note, a score for each symptoms, when the total scoring is at 80 or more than 80, you have 21 times likely to be dyslexic. And if you are under 45, you are 34 times more likely to be a normal reader. And more interesting, we made the same questionnaire to all the parents of these dyslexics. And we discovered that more than 30% of the parents were occupied with a positive pressure during the night for apnea. So obviously, there is a strong relationship between dyslexia, proprioception, and sleep. Thank you for your attention. If you need this questionnaire, if you want this questionnaire, just send me a mail. This is my address, and you can have it in Spanish, in Italian, in English, and in French.
Also send me an email because I would like to work about this questionnaire and maybe present together a work for the next iFAB. So thank you very much, Patrick, to start. Thank you for your learning and thank you for your amitié. I have any question for Patrick?
Thank you. Thank you. No question. It's better for my English. Thank you very much.